Hello, this is James. Today is March 1st, the first day of spring, and the appropriate time for flowers. We have our AROMAGE deck here today, and this one comes from Reddit user Before Dawn. So thank you to him or her. This deck uses the Destiny Draw skill, which combos very nicely with the AROMAGE's ability to give you a bunch of life points. So we have our little girl, AROMAGE Jasmine, and all AROMAGEs have two effects. One when your LP is higher than your opponent's, and then the second one when you gain life points. So Jasmine, when your LP is higher, you can normal summon a plant type monster in addition to your normal summon, except for her sisters. And when you gain life points, you can draw a card. Bergamot, when your life points are higher, she does piercing damage. Actually, all plants do piercing damage. And if you gain LP, she gains 1,000 attack and defense. That's a good beat stick. And AROMAGE Rosemary, if your life points are higher, your opponent cannot activate monster effects until the end of the damage step when a plant type monster attacks. So when your LP is higher, all of your plant monsters become Ancient Gears against Kuriboh, but not against spells or traps. But blocking Kuriboh, that's a nice little bonus. So we have 3 each of these wonderful flower children and 2 Rose Lovers. When Rose Lover is in the graveyard, you may banish her, and you can special summon a plant type monster, any of these, but usually Bergamot. And that monster for that turn is immune to the effects of traps. And of course we have our Aroma Garden. Once per turn you may gain 500 life points, and all monsters you control gain 500 attack and defense until your opponent's next turn, even if this card leaves the field. And you can actually chain these guys. So you can, if you have 3 in your hand, you can play one, activate it, play the second, activate it, play the third, activate it, and gain 1500 LP. Your monsters all gain 1500 attack and defense. Even if you play them after you activate the effect, they gain that. But Bergamot's attack increase is only once per turn. That's only once per turn, and the changing the defense position for Rosemary is only once per turn. Now, when I was making AROMAGE decks, I wanted to use Enchanted Javelin, but that card doesn't really work for the same reason that Wall of D doesn't exactly work anymore, is because everybody's expecting those damage step cards, and so they're hard countered. So instead, we have Aegis of Gaia. When you activate it, you suddenly gain 3,000 life points. So in addition to Aroma Garden, we can use that to activate the effects of our AROMAGEs. But be careful with Rosemary, because her attack position changing effect is mandatory. And for example, if you're facing hazy monsters, if there's 2 hazy monsters and then just your Rosemary, you'll have to change your Rosemary into defense position, because you cannot target hazy creatures. So that's why that's there. We have an enemy controller for making plays, which is the reason enemy controllers exist, not as a dinky windstorm. And keep an eye on this. This is going to be seen coming up. And Super Rush Headlong for protecting our delicate flowers. Anti-magic arrows for sealing the game. And Parallel Twister, which is a neat card that has an unseen combo with Aegis of Gaia. So what you can do is you can pop your Aegis of Gaia, you gain 3,000 life points, and then when it's removed from the field, you take 3,000 damage. So you pop Aegis of Gaia, then you use Parallel Twister. It's not a quick play, you have to use it on your turn. You remove Aegis of Gaia from the field, and then you get to destroy one of your opponent's cards, and then on your next turn, you can activate Destiny Draw, which is great. I love Destiny Draw. If it were reasonable, it would be the only skill that I would use in PvP, because you it's not just mindless like beat down or draw sense, whatever. You have to make a conscious decision in that moment in time to choose a card that will help you win the game. And with all of this life point gaining ability, we're going to be able to make that conscious decision and be a human multiple times in a single duel. And make sure you stay until the end, because we have a very battle against a sea stealth attack with my prismatic enemy controller. Roll the clips. So here we have, this is a very basic battle against Ancient Gears, and we're gonna play our Jasmine in face-up defense position so that we can protect her with Super Rush Headbomb, because she's not just a body to block damage. You really want to make use of her normal summoning and card drawing ability as much as possible. Now that face down is most likely an Ancient Gear Golem, and using Stray Lambs with Ancient Gear Golem, I think the opponent's a little bit impulsive. But here we're going to show our Parallel Twister and Aegis of Gaia combo. Now, we pop Aegis of Gaia, Jasmine lets us draw a card. Now we're going to play Twister. We take the damage, and we can remove any one card on the field. So we get rid of that Ancient Gear Golem, and then we tribute for our Bergamot. Now, since we've taken over 2,000 damage, we get to activate Destiny Draw on our next turn. Ancient Gear Castle, and if you turn your toggle to on, you can wait until the battle phase and to make sure that your monster is protected. Using the enemy controller, which really should be used for making plays, but you use it however you need to. So we're going to activate our Destiny Draw from the Aegis of Gaia Parallel Twister combo. We're going to get out our Aroma Garden, and now this is good and locked up. Even if he has another Karibo, my Bergamot is going to have more defense than that Ancient Gear Beast does attack. Look at that, 3,900 with piercing. And we could actually activate this and then go for a second Aroma Garden, but let's not get greedy. Good game. And here we're playing against a Chaz Princeton mill deck and a burn deck. And the way you play against a burn stall deck is you play slow. Just don't rush. That's what they want. Fill up your monster zones. And here we get two monsters to bait out the Lava Golem, because we have our Bergamot ready to sacrifice the Lava Golem for. And so we're going to get out our Bergamot, but you don't attack. Do not attack until you have your monster zones filled up so that he can't put Ojama tokens. That Massive Morph is totally fine because I wasn't planning on attacking anyway, and I have plenty of monsters ready to be summoned. Plays a face down, Aroma Garden, and here we're going to summon two cards. So we have two monsters. We're gonna block off the other two monster zones in the same turn, and Rosemary's effect makes us change a monster's battle position. We're going to change Bergamot because she can't attack anyway. I'm going to put her in defense position because of and see that Rose Lover blocked that wall of D. So it's looking pretty bad for him. He can't get any Ojama tokens, and he didn't draw another Lava Golem. Here we're going to activate Aroma Garden again, and hopefully he doesn't have another wall of D, because that would be pretty rough. We'd have to wait until we drew into a Bergamot, and who knows what would happen. Good game. My Valentine, this is an Aroma Haze deck, and here we play, the way you play Jasmine and Rosemary together is you play the Jasmine, and then you activate the Aroma Garden, and then you have higher life points, so you draw a card, and then you're able to normal summon your Rosemary. Now, ideally, you already have Rosemary out, because then she's able to put your Jasmine into defense position. But here, it's only an Electro, so we don't have to really worry about that too much. And this is a powerful card drawing engine, right? With these two Jasmines, we can draw a whole bunch of cards, and actually the opponent tries to use that against us. So we don't have any of our strong monsters, but we have tons of life points. And here we're going to go ahead and get Rose Lover into the graveyard, and maybe also pop a back row because he thinks that we're going Super Rush. He tributes for the Sphinx. We have tons of life points. We have Rose Lover in the graveyard. We have Aroma Garden. We're ready to go. So we play another Jasmine because I'm trying to get more cards. I'm trying to get Bergamots so that I can nuke his Hazes before he gets out Beast Rising. I feel like this version of Hazy is inferior, and he wisely floodgates both of my AROMAGEs, so we're not able to get out the Bergamot. But we still have another card that we can use to draw. And so see, he's trying to make me draw out of cards. So he put the Jasmine face up, and then he killed the AROMAGE, which popped the Aroma Garden, which also gives us more life points. And then we had to draw 2 cards. We're getting pretty low on cards. And actually the last 2 Bergamots are at the bottom of the pile. Thanks for that, Konami. But thanks to Jasmine, we're able to get out both our Bergamot and our Rosemary. And then we gain life points, we gain attack, so now we can kill 2 Sphinxes. We put our Jasmine into attack position because we're not worried about life points at all. But Rosemary cannot target the Hazes with her effect. And we put out the second Aroma Garden so that we can get lethal damage. And with Rosemary's effect, we block Karibo. So if there was a Karibo, doesn't matter. Here is a Mako Tsunami deck. This is not the Sea Stealth Attack duel that I promised, but it is a pretty good duel. And he's playing the Golden Flying Fish variant, where you have Golden Flying Fish and Oystermeister, and with Oystermeister's effect and Golden Flying Fish's destroy effect, you get a bunch of destroys. Here we activate Aroma Garden, put the fish in the defense position, and that makes him use up a back row. Now he doesn't activate the destroy, which is smart. Really, he should go for Aroma Garden. He should destroy the Aroma Garden and kill my my Rosemary. But we play Rosemary, activate Aroma Garden again, put the fish in the defense position. And then, but there's a distinct delay, and it's not an enemy controller kind of delay, which is pretty long. It's a fast delay, which means he has a wall of D and he doesn't want to use it. This is post-fact analysis, but that's what it seems like to me. When people have enemy controller or Super Rush, like they take a minute, they take a while. Whereas wall of D, you really only want to use that when your opponent has 2 or more monsters on the field. So we're gonna tribute for our Bergamot because if he has, I don't want to get bricked out with these Bergamots. I want to be able to get some damage on him. But he has a Super Rush, so his fish is safe for this turn. And there's the Oystermeister. So now he's going to probably pop the Aroma Garden. At least that's what I'm thinking right now when I'm playing. So he goes ahead, activates the effect, tributes the Oystermeister. I think he misplays. He destroys his own Umi, and then destroys the token to blow up my Aroma Garden. Now we activate our special ability, Destiny Draw. And we draw into our Rose Lover, put her in defense position. If he has a second monster, we're fine. We have enough life points. And that's really went better than I could have hoped for. So he blows up his Oystermeister, destroys my Rose Lover, and then we're rolling and take 1700. And now Rose Lover is ready to let us summon our Bergamot. And we're going to activate Aroma Garden. And actually, we could go for the win, but I don't know what cards he has. We could boost, with the second Aroma Garden, we could boost Bergamot all the way up to 4400 and do Pierce on that token. And we're immune to whatever traps, but not to spells. And I don't know what other spells he might have. So here we go ahead and normal summon. We're gonna gain the life points and draw a card. So we gain our AROMAGE Rosemary, and we have the full trio. But we don't play her because we want to still have lethal through the wall of D. There it is. So now, because Bergamot gets so massive, she's still going to be able to do lethal piercing damage through that token's 0 defense. Good game, Mako. Alright, here it is. This is a full-on Sea Stealth Attack Kaiba money deck. And look at this prismatic Atlantean soldier. So we don't start with a good hand. We set our Rose Lover, we set our Aegis of Gaia, and we set our second Aegis of Gaia. And that's going to come in clutch. We go ahead, we let him destroy Rose Lover. Do not activate our Aegis of Gaia. And here, we are able to special summon our Bergamot, and that's really the only play we have. And if it can be avoided, don't set your enemy controllers, because you don't want them to get destroyed. You want to use them to make plays. Don't be like Seto Kaiba, using your enemy controller to protect your Warrior of Atlantis. Not Atlantis Soldier, Warrior of Atlantis. Look at that prismatic card. This guy's so rich. Alright, anyway, so we use Aegis of Gaia, and gaining those life points enables Bergamot to gain enough defense to block off this attack, and to avoid taking life point damage, he banishes his monster with Sea Stealth. Pretty standard. Change Bergamot to attack position, and we're going to go for the attack once again. And we change it to off, because we don't want him to know, we change the toggle to off because we don't want him to know that we have anti-magic arrows. He doesn't let us kill his monster, but he lets us put 2400 damage onto his face. And here, he plays his Plesion, and Sea Stealth Attack is just a continuous super rush, blows up in Bergamot, and now we're kind of stuck. We got to make that conscious decision. What's going to help us win? This little slip of a girl. We're going to go ahead and pick her. We're going to confirm, draw a card. Now we could play AROMAGE Jasmine. We could pop Aegis of Gaia. We could draw a card. We could just put. We could try and rush it with enemy controller, but that wouldn't work because if we use enemy controller on one of his monsters right now, he'll just banish it, and the card will go for naught. And we have to win in this turn, otherwise that Plesion's going to tear up our field, and who knows what kind of card we're going to draw. So what do we do? What do we do? My deck has no pathetic cards, Kaiba, but it does contain AROMAGE Jasmine. Now, since we have more life points than Kaiba does, we're still able to tribute summon for Bergamot. And our enemy controller is pretty useless. Like, we could put Atlantis in the defense position, but he would just banish it. So what we do, we have to bait the banish. So we activate Aegis of Gaia like we're going to power her up to go for its weaker monster. Since Sea Stealth Attack is once per turn, we can Econ take, and anti-magic arrows seal the deal. This battle is now canon. These roses grow in salt water, Kaiba. Thank you for watching.